Thank you very much. A few weeks ago, I was tagged in a message on Twitter by an officer of the International Rescue Committee. And he tweeted about an event that he just recently encountered. He was on the shore of the Greek island of Lesbos, where every day thousands of people wash ashore, alive or dead, fleeing the wars in Iraq and Syria. And was one man coming ashore, and when he saw his IRC badge on his shirt, he burst into tears. He said, "I want to thank you because you helped me back in Syria." And from his shirt he tore a plastic bag with a small cell phone and a WakaWaka. WakaWaka is Swahili, it means shine bright, it does. But you can also charge your phone with it. So he said, "Now I can call my family and tell them I survived. I got this safely." When I heard this story, I really got the goosebumps, because he had had that device 1.5 years ago in the Syrian refugee camp. And in that 1.5 years, together with IRC, we were able to help 100,000 Syrian families fleeing from the war, 500,000 people, to light and power. And you just cannot imagine how important that is for safety, for connectivity, etc. This is an example of how we have been using the WakaWaka, our solar LED lamp, in this specific situation. It's been only 4.5 years before that we started this adventure, started to think of an idea that led to this solar LED light and charging device. How did it come along? In 2010, the World Cup in South Africa led us to go there. We won the challenge, actually, to carbon neutralize the World Cup by replacing incandescents, millions of them, by LED lights. We discovered the power of LED, which is a very efficient light. But we also discovered that even in South Africa, which is the most advanced economy in Africa at large, even 1/4 of the population, 50 million people, do not even have access to the electricity grid. So I thought, how on earth, after 6 p.m., do these people live? We discovered the horrors of kerosene. People use kerosene. It sounds sexy because it's used as a fuel for aviation, but the kind of quality they can just buy is in fact a toxic fluid. They inhale it, it's bad for health, a lot of accidents happens. We dug into the statistics. Over 300,000 people, mainly women and children who are in the kitchen, they die from fires from kerosene every year, 300,000. Moreover, 6 million people on a regular basis each year have very severe burns and scars for the rest of their lives from kerosene fires. So I thought, how on earth in Africa, Asia, where the sun is abundant, do people not use that light? Do not use it to turn it into electricity. So together with my business partner, Camille van Gestel, we set ourselves the task of just doing that. There's 1.2 billion people without access on the globe, and another 1.2 billion that have very poor access, that have blackouts, brownouts all the time, which is hampering social life. It's very dangerous, as I explained, but it also hampers economic activity. These people are trapped into a situation they can hardly escape from. So what we did is try to collect the best people in solar PV, in batteries, in LED lights, in industrial design. And within 9 months, I'm a political scientist, so I know nothing about nothing, a little bit about anything. I just can connect people. We were able to develop the most efficient solar LED lamp in the world. It was discovered by research institutions. We were really surprised that we could do that. So we started to crowdfund for a device that could also charge your phone. And that's how we got demand from the Western world, from the United States. They said, "Hi, can we distribute this in the States?" And we thought, what for? Outdoor emergency situations that also happen in the United States. And then we thought, well, that's a a market that can pay a lot more than poor African and Asian people, bottom of the pyramid. So we designed the buy one, give one model, what we call the Robin Hood pricing. You pay more, so that we can cross-subsidize for countries where people do not really have that money. That was very successful, and the give ones we collected, and we could hand them out for free to emergency situations where NGOs, like in the Philippine Haiyan disaster, like in the Nepal earthquake, like in Ebola country, where doctors could not treat their patients after 6 p.m. Just imagine, you have to leave your patient at 6 p.m. and come back 12 hours later and see whether they're still alive or not. Just imagine. We could do that. We could help a lot of Syrian refugees. But of course, to make it a sustainable model, we should do something else as well. We worked together with NGOs who bought at a very low price the devices from us. They distributed them all around the globe. I can give you some pictures from around the globe. This is a doctor that can operate after 6 p.m. Syrian refugee girls, people in Rwanda, in Colombia, Haiti, Malawi, even in the Far East. This is the Nepali woman, about 100 years old, seeing, just imagine, solar lit lamp for the first time in her life. Another situation here in Ebola country. But it has to be sustainable commercial model, because we cannot hand that out for free and just rely on the Western market to do that. So we thought the energy, the solar energy is free. So how can we pre-finance a device which is very effective, but also uses the costly quality components that we need to have a longevity of the product? Otherwise, people end up buying the same product all over again. Crap, that which are then thrown into the environment. So we create another problem. How can we come up with a solution that's sustainable in itself? And what we did is we went to Rwanda, which is about the same size as the Netherlands, 11 million people, with a government which is stable and which is also oriented towards sustainability. And we designed what we call the virtual grid. And this little film explains you a little bit, it's an animation, how we did that actually we've been doing that for a year now already. I'll explain to it a little bit later on, how it works.
Meet the Murenzi family. They live in rural Rwanda and are not connected to the electricity grid. This means that when the sun sets, the family's home is enveloped in darkness. The Murenzis spend up to a quarter of their income on light and power. Candles and kerosene lamps are used to cook, study, and work after sunset, but provide poor light and increase the likelihood of household fires and respiratory diseases. Unfortunately, building power plants and power lines to connect the village to the grid is too expensive. So, the family's future doesn't look too bright. Solar power is a clean, safe, and available alternative that provides high-quality light and power. However, the Murenzis can't afford to buy a solar-powered device. That's why we came up with an affordable solution. We call it the virtual grid. Based on the WakaWaka Power, the world's most efficient solar light and phone charger, this special pay-as-you-go WakaWaka is made available for just a few dollars. Here's how it works. The family buys a $1 scratch card, sends a text with this code and a unique code from their WakaWaka, and instantly receives a text containing an activation code for their unit. The WakaWaka now provides all the light and power the household needs for an entire week. The virtual grid has a positive impact on the family's health, school results, and even provides them with new income-generating opportunities. The Murenzi family is not an exception. Over 90% of rural households in Rwanda lack access to electricity, just like another 1.2 billion people on our planet. Let's give them the power to change their world. WakaWaka. Share the sun.
So this is a way in which we can even reach the poorest families in Rwanda. People earning just $1.50, $2 a day. They buy the device for an amount of money which for them is considerable. So they're very careful about it, and they really try to use it because they can, because the scratch cards are cheaper than when they buy kerosene lamps from candles or batteries. So they have access, and it's cheaper. So in that way, they can gradually pay off. It's a kind of, the device in itself is a kind of micropayment to them, not in the form of money, but in the form of a device, which they can use now. We've been testing it for a year now, and we did that in 3 districts in Rwanda. We are now going to expand in the next coming month to another 10 districts, and then we're covering about a third to 40% of the whole country. And if we've learned the lessons, because you can think about something at an office in the Netherlands, but Africa is very different from your office in the Netherlands. And if you make mistakes, we'd rather make them on a small scale and then learn the lessons and then enlarge it on a bigger scale and then grow rapidly. And that's actually what we do in Rwanda now, and we want to expand that in the rest of Africa and Asia, of course. I just returned from New York City, where we were on the stage with Bill Clinton. He has the Clinton Global Initiative. 4 years ago, we were on the same stage, and we promised that we would enlighten the lives of 1 million people within 5 years. I mean, after thinking back, I thought we must have been crazy, because we just did not have any money. We just had a prototype which was working, but it was a very ugly one, actually. But now we've been able to announce that we have done that. Actually, we have provided over 1 million people with light and power from the WakaWaka within 4 years, not in 5 years. So things can move very, very rapidly if you have the right product. And we are in the midst of the solar revolution, because both solar PV and batteries and LED have come down in price very dramatically. The quality has gone up, so we are on the verge of a solar revolution which can help Africa and Asia, the poorest people, skip a whole century. They don't need a grid anymore. They are connected already to the solar grid. It's just our task to come up with schemes that enable them to tap into that resource. I think that that's the possibility to help the bottom of the pyramid, as they are called, billions of people actually not connected to energy, not connected to the possibility to enlarge their lives, and to enable them to have a good living. I just mentioned 3 examples. The Msefu school, you don't know it, it's in southeast Kenya. They were the first to receive 1,000 lights only. But after a year, they have a good monitoring system in Kenya. I was surprised, but they do have that. They appear to be on the top of the list of the schools in the whole southeast of Kenya. And the headmaster said, no wonder. Now they can make their homework with a light. There is 10,000 women in Dogon country in Mali, which now, by not having to buy kerosene anymore, in being able to earn some money after sunset, on the day they work the land, they don't earn any money with it, they just feed their family with that. But now they need money, of course, for medicine, for schooling, etc. Now they can do something which they can earn money with after sunset. They raise their income with 40%. 40%, just imagine. Low income, but 40% is a lot. There's many examples like that. Our neighbor in Haarlem, where we have our office, he has a second home in the Philippines. He goes there once in a while, and his neighbor there, she's a midwife. And at a night, she called him. She had to go to an emergency, something going wrong with giving birth. And he saw how that happened, with a kerosene lamp alongside, very dangerous, in that thatched roof, a wooden house, etc. So he came to us, he bought 3 crates, and 2.5 months later he said, You have been taking care of 924 safe deliveries now. So I'm going to expand that in the whole of the Philippines. Just imagine what can happen if one generation gets education, gets a chance of being safe, gets a chance of economic development. I feel very privileged to be able to contribute to that solar revolution that can help billions of people get themselves out of poverty. Thank you very much for listening.